verbally, let me put it in the what from the chairman's desk. So he will at least read to approve that note and believing that he'll probably get the message also. So I did that piece, sent it to him, that company is going through difficult times, we can't bear the cost, company is going to sink, all that thing that eventually happened was in that note. And like I said, it was the other side. He did not have time to go through it or understand the reason for it. And he said, okay. And I quickly printed 18,000 copies out and sent it out to all the employees to look at it. And I reproduced it in the book later, that look, the writing was on the wall. It's a tragedy that India has too many illiterates, but the bigger tragedy is that those who can read can't read the writing on the wall. And that is what happened to the organization.
Very well said.
That's it. Thank you.
And many a time you said it, and I'm going to say it here, many a time the IAS is the problem. It is the problem.
Okay, necessary.
Many a time.
Well, you know, when you say many a time, it should mean 60% kind of a thing.
Right.
What I'm trying to put across here is, it's basically the employees. Let me explain. When I do a book, the second one as a sequel, you see, Praful Patel doesn't figure in the first half of the book. Clearly, there was wrongs being committed in the organization even before he came on the scene, or before the IS came on the scene. So when you reflect back on the organization, it's the kind of people you recruit, and you only promote them on the basis of seniority and not attitude, aptitude, or competence. You are going to suffer. I came from outside, therefore I had the requisite kind, not arrogance is not the right word to look at it, the boldness in me to question a chairman and question a minister. My colleagues did not, and that is what made it.
Very well said, very well said. The boldness and the arrogance also, there's a fine line. Well done, well done. Sudeep, any juicy stories from the corporate world?
Well, there are many.
One?
Okay, I will start with one, but I've got a few more. One, I remember very, early 2000s, there was something I was working very closely with the office of the chairman, with Mr. Tata in his office. There was some crisis, I'm not going to go into that. But one thing he asked very specifically is that he said, Tatas are all about the trust and integrity. The day we lose it, we lose all. And then he said, do you know what integrity is? So I was looking at him for the guidance. And then he said, doing the right thing when no one is watching you.
Yeah.
And then he said, and I think, that's why, he's respected and he is what he is. And he said, doing the right thing when no one is watching. And then he told me that, when we do disclosures, please ensure that those disclosures are done at a time when no one is asking.
Super,
I
very
think,
nice.
if we take it as a gold standard of, what we do in our profession, if we are, our job is to put out facts. We are not spin doctors, as some members of the media do put out as ad. If you put out facts, if you back it up with a good narrative and you are able to package it well, I don't think that you would ever cross the line and be on the other side of the line. So I think that is one very simple aspect of it. Another aspect is, I still remember those are my days from Reliance Industries, and
Quick one.
Very quick one. Some again, some crisis and some wrong thing has come out, and it was more because of the overzealousness of one CEO to put out something in the public domain because he would be seen in a good light, but things went south. And I remember the chairman, Mr. Ambani, said that we should always have the policy of doing first, talking later. So, something which has stayed with me that, do it first, do it well, and then start talking rather than talk first.
Absolutely brilliant, but I still like the first one better. First story was much better. Okay, Tarun, go ahead.
Just a quick one. So when I was in Mint years ago, we were asked to start a blog, individual blog, and I was not too comfortable, because blog is personal. But all the same, we started writing, and as I warmed up to it and started getting popular, one of my blog posts, I took the liberty of taking creative license to elaborate on certain aspects, and that blog became viral. Later in the newsroom, there was discussion, and my other correspondents, they asked me that, was all of it true, authentic, did it really happen? So I said, look, little bit I changed, little bit I modified, and not really sensationalized, but keeping the reader's interest in mind. That's when our editor, Raju Narisetti, he was an icon and I think very, very well regarded in media circles. He told me that's not right. What you did, there should have been some sort of disclosure to the team or whoever, so that that's when it dawned on me that what responsibility we carry and how important it is to be ethical. It was unintentional. I had changed the names, I did not harm anybody, but yes, I did take some liberty in changing, thinking it's a blog, it's not a newspaper story, I'm not reporting. But all the same, that was a huge learning, and I realized that even when, for example, say UNICEF invited me for an event and I came and did a story, our newspaper, I told them that it was funded by UNICEF. So they wrote there that, the story is there, but it's been funded by UNICEF. The same story, when we had covered it, Financial Times journalist refused to let the media trip be sponsored. She said, I need to retain my independent editorial integrity, and I will not. So, just to take off from what he said, the two things about integrity and disclosure, I think those are very important things that you should keep in mind as you go further in your careers. Thanks.
Thank you, Prabhu. What a brilliant panel. We are coming to the close. In fact, we have come to the close. There is no time for Q&A, even if you insist. So don't raise your hands, please. And we will take them offline later. We are available during lunchtime. But I must thank the panelists. I must also say that all of you have the potential and are already perhaps motivational speakers. All of you can be motivational speakers. Absolutely brilliant stories. And I also want a round of applause for the goodness of PR professionals. Just look at communication professionals, ethics, values, building trust. We're talking about the right thing to do. We are not doing lipapoti, not doing devious stuff. So a big round of applause once again for all the communication professionals and PR professionals. Thank you, panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all the speakers for such an insightful session, and of course their amazing stories.